Expo. The Expo is actually very strong. I'm just absolutely diaper butt using it. The Expo, the Expo, the Expo, the Expo, the Expo. Captain Underpants. Expo, Expo, Expo. X, 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 X. Expo, 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 Expo. Hola, hola, hola. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It's me, Fisherman Whispers, and Lord Vasterz, and I'm back with another ASMR video. For this ASMR video, I'm on the game Clash Royale. Clash Royale. Clash Royale. And what I'm going to do is simply repeat character names. So, this is one of my main builds. This is actually my main build currently. It's a work in progress, okay? Work in progress. So I'm going to start with these cards down here. Or what I could do actually. Let me do this. Let me go here. Let me go here. Let me click that. So let me click OK. Oh, it doesn't work like that. Right? Or does it? Let's see if I add one. Oh yeah, it does. Nice. And then I can do buy elixir cost or whatever I want it to be. So let's do buy elixir. And let's... Oh, because these are boosted, so these show up at the top row. So, okay, here we go. Ready, ready, ready. Skeleton barrel, skeleton barrel, skeleton barrel, skeleton barrel. Personally, I don't really use this card, but it's pretty nice. I mean, it can look pretty fancy as well, as you can see with the little bling bling, little gold. Skeleton barrel. Skeleton barrel, skeleton barrel, skeleton barrel. Skeleton barrel, skeleton barrel. Skeleton barrel. The next one we have the witch, the witch, the witch. The witch, the witch, the witch. This is a pretty powerful card. Especially now because it's boosted for 14 days, as you can see on the top left. But it's a very, very nice card. Pretty powerful, does a lot of damage. The witch, the witch, the witch, the witch, the witch, the witch. Then we have the Electro Dragon. So this one has an evolution, and I love the evolution for it. It's such a powerful card. It can counter things like the Inferno Tower, the Inferno Dragon, and just look at the damage that it can do. The Electro Dragon, Electro Dragon. The evolution is so powerful because it bounces back and forth between enemies infinitely. It's very, very, very powerful. Electro Dragon, Electro Dragon, Electro Dragon, Electro Dragon, Electro Dragon, Electro Dragon. Electro Dragon. The Executioner. The Executioner. The Executioner. This is such a powerful card. And sadly, I don't really use it too often. But it's, as you can see, look how strong it is. It's just that it costs quite a bit. It's a very expensive card, but it can perform very well to clean up some ads. Some of those little weaklings right there. As you can see, there's a bunch of them on the screen. It's really, really nice for clears. Alright, here we go. Skeletons. I love skeletons. The regular skeletons are okay, but what I love is the evolutions. The evolution skeletons are so powerful because it can counter a P.E.K.K.A. As you can see in the P.E.K.K.A, that card is like my kryptonite on this game. It's very difficult, but this skeleton that costs only one elixir can take it out. It's very nice. Skeletons, 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 skeletons. The fire spirits. This card Electro Spirit. Alright, so their Electro Spirit, I don't really use it. I mean, I could. I personally just prefer the Fire Spirit. The Ice Spirit. The Ice Spirit is pretty nice. The evolution's very fancy because, as you can see, you can freeze the targets a few times. It's pretty nice. It only costs 1 elixir. And you can even counter the Inferno Dragon, which is also part of my kryptonite. As you can see, it's messing up the fire for the Inferno Dragon. It's just very, very nice. I definitely enjoy it. And did I show you guys the clip at the end of this? Is there another clip? Oh no, it's just one clip, okay. Electro Spirits, Ice Spirit, Ice Spirit, Ice Spirit, Heal Spirit. I like never use this card, like ever. But it's pretty nice in certain situations. It's not too easy though. You have to be pretty decent on how you use it. It's pretty difficult to use that card. That's the Heal Spirit, the Heal Spirit, the Heal Spirit, the Heal Spirit. The Mirror. Okay, so the Mirror, it's gotta be one of my favorite cards to use because you can duplicate any card that you just used last. And you can make it, you can create it again. So it's pretty nice that this card can open the doors to like certain things, like if you want to put 2 Mega Knights or something, you know, you can do that. I like the Mirror. The Mirror is very nice. The Mirror. Goblin Slayer. This is pretty nice. For like, just to get rid of those high intensity units that do a lot of damage. Because you have all of them right there. Ready to go. Spear goblins. I like these better just because air is like so vital. And you want to make sure you have protection against the ground and the air. You know, you just want to make sure you're okay. Spear goblins. The bomber as the regular form is pretty cool. It's to clear, as you can see, it just clears very well. But the evolution is an absolute delightful, just morning cup of coffee. I don't even drink coffee, but if I did, this would be nice right here. This would be it. It's absolutely incredible because it does damage, like in all different sorts of directions, or onward in the same direction, I should say. It's so nice. Typically, in my rush with the bomber, I put like the Mega Knight or a Golem in front, and I put the bomber behind, and it's very nice. It's very nice. The bomber. The bats. This is probably by far one of my most played cards of all time. Not only because it's cheap, but because it's pretty strong, and I even have the evolution for it. It can take on a P.E.K.K.A, a Mega Knights, even that right there, as you can see the giant, because it's in the air, it's in the sky, and there's so many of them, and it does so much damage, and it can even do a lot of damage to the tower if it gets to the tower as well. It's just a very, very powerful card in my opinion. Mind you, they are basically one hit. If like something else has the ability to attack air, but still. The zap. I love the zap. The zap is something I use because it's a cheap card, a cheap spell card, and you can clear the map quite well. If someone puts an Inferno Tower like right there, you can reset it so it doesn't do the full damage output, or an Inferno Dragon, or if there's ads and you need to clear the map. It's pretty nice, and I even have the evolution for it as well. evolution is so nice because it actually zaps multiple times, and it's just a very, very nice experience. I definitely like the zap. The zap. Alright, let's keep it going. Giant snowball. Okay, this is probably number one rank of I never use ever. Only if it's like, I don't even know what I'm doing, a challenge or something for a video over like a friend or something like that, but I just won't. I just, why? Like, why would you use this and not like a zap or whatever, you know what I mean? A giant snowball. Giant snowball. Giant snowball, snow angels. The ice golem. The ice golem is actually extremely meta, but sadly I am not a professional player of Clash Royale. I'm actually quite a noob, and I don't know how to kite well, sadly. So I'm kind of out of luck on that. But it's a really powerful card if you know how to use it. As you can see right now in the clip, he is kiting the giant skeleton around the map, wasting time for the opponent to miss the damage output, so it's pretty decent. So yeah, and then you can even boost so the ice golem will be faster if you put something behind, like a card behind it, that actually is faster. So it's actually pretty nice if you know how to use it. It's definitely a high level playing card in my opinion. If I was better at the game, I definitely would be using that more often. Then we have the Barbarian Barrel. So the Barbarian Barrel, I mean, it's cool, I guess. Consider it like a zap or something in a way. It does a little bit of damage. It can clear a little bit of ads, but I mean, it's not like, whoa, look at this. What is this? You know, it's like, it's okay, I guess. I like never use this like ever for my build, but I guess it's cool. The log. Typically, I'd rather use the log than the card I just showed. It's much easier to use, and it can also attack like the tower, the enemy tower. So, I mean, yeah, the log is pretty nice. The wall breakers. So the wall breakers are pretty cool. I actually have the evolution of the wall breakers, and it's pretty powerful if you can make it to the tower. It does pretty decent damage, in my opinion. The rage. So the rage spell is actually pretty nice, especially with like a rush build. You're just gonna attack faster, it's gonna be more damage output, and as you can see, that rush right there was absolutely remarkable. The rage. The suspicious bush. This is by far one of the most troll cards of the whole game. Nothing can attack it that I know of. Maybe a spell, but like, as you can see, all the mobs right there, they're just ignoring it. So it's like a hidden, it's like camouflaged. The suspicious bush. Yeah, a spell can counter that. Suspicious bush. The knight's a pretty nice card. It's an OG card. I actually have the evolution of it, and it's pretty nice. I typically don't really use it, but I do have it evolved. It's a nice card that's very cheap in elixir, and it does, you know, quite a bit of damage as well as quite a bit of just shields. You know, it's definitely, it's not a bad card, you know, in my opinion. It's pretty nice. The knight. cost 2. And it can attack in the air, and the bats are in the air. The archers, as you can see, they're on the ground, stationary. So that's like a downside type of thing. And like I said, oh, here's evolution that I do not have yet, but maybe in the future I'll be able to get it. Maybe 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 I'll be able to get it. Archers, 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 archers. The archers, the archers, the archers. The archers, the archers, the archers. Alright, let's keep it going, let's keep it going, let's keep it going, let's keep it going, let's keep it going. Minions, minions, minions. The minions are pretty nice. It only costs 3 elixir, and they pack a punch. It's definitely a power play card for like defense, or even for an offensive rush. It's pretty nice. Then we have the arrows, the arrows, the arrows, the arrows. I love using the arrows. It's a nice range because, I mean, if I use the zap, I might miss. But the area that you damage is pretty nice. It clears ads. It clears, look at that, just boom, like that. It clears the skies, clears the ground of all the weak ads. Very simple, very easy. Very powerful card. The tombstone, the tombstone, the tombstone, the tombstone. The tombstone is pretty decent, but I'm just not that decent using it. Out of all the building types that actually spawn mobs, I would say the tombstone is probably the weakest one. It just doesn't have that much health. So, you know, I don't know if it's really that worth it because it doesn't really stay too long on the board. But it's not bad, I guess. You know, it's not the worst. But in my opinion, it's not the best. But that's the tombstone. Then we have the cannon. The cannon, I literally just don't use it. Maybe I should give it a chance because it is a very, very powerful card. Don't get me wrong. It's a very, very nice defensive card, and it's pretty nice. It can distract the opponent. Like if they put something down, like a giant, as you can see, the giant gets distracted. Instead of going for your tower, your main towers, it goes for the cannon, for the building. It's pretty nice. The Mega Minion, okay, the Mega Minion is actually pretty fun to use. I do like using this card time to time, but once again, I like to use the bats more often because the bats only cost 2. And for the bats, there's like more than one of them. There's multiple, but for the Mega Minion, there's only one of them. Skeleton Army, let me tell you, this right here, this card was the OG to my builds back in the day. This was the card right here. Skeleton Army saved me against so many rushes. I'm talking P.E.K.K.A.s. Like, it just saved so much trouble. Instead of me dying like crazy, I could put this card down and it'll cost 3 elixir, and I can defend my side of the map at a budget. So it's pretty nice. As you can see, lots of damage, and yeah, it's pretty cool. The guards are basically like the same exact way. I would use it against like the P.E.K.K.A. and guards like that because there's multiple units and they do pack a punch, and it's a pretty nice defensive measure that you can actually use just to make sure that your side of the map is in okay working order. But of course there are counters to it, such as the wizard and many other AoE cards out there. The cards. The goblin barrel, the goblin barrel, the goblin barrel. I like the goblin barrel. It's a pretty nice card just to use to rush. I do have the evolution. You throw the goblin barrel at cheap. It only costs 3 elixir, but it also has ground and air control. And I like that because it's all into one card. So basically, in other ways, it's like a mixture of the skeleton army as well as the bats, because it can attack the ground and it can also attack the air. It's such a power play card. They are very weak though, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely useful to use because it can be used for multiple reasons. The Dark Goblin. The Dark Goblin is probably a card that I have neglected for quite some time, and it's kind of crazy because the Dark Goblin is a very, very, very powerful card. It's a very annoying card to deal with when it's in the background, just causing some mayhem. But Dark Goblin, yeah, it's a pretty nice card. Don't get me wrong. I just don't use it that often. The Princess. The Princess is a card that a lot of people like and enjoy. I myself included, but I do not have the Princess as a main. One of my friends loves the Princess card for the tick damage. But for me, I prefer using a different card instead. But it's a very nice card. The Miner, the Miner, the Miner, the Miner. The Miner's pretty cool. You can send the Miner to the other side of the map or wherever you want to, and it can remove like those pesky little towers you can see, those buildings. It can remove that. It can attack the towers off the rip. It can do quite a bit of annoyance on the other side if you would prefer that. But yeah, the Miner's actually pretty nice. I do like the Miner card. It's very, very nice. The Firecracker is absolutely insane. If you never used a Firecracker, I highly recommend this card. It only costs 3 elixir. Just 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3. The Firecracker is crazy, especially when it's evolved. As you can see, look at the damage that it's doing. A level 3 elixir cost card doing that much damage is unbelievable. But mind you, she doesn't have that much health. But she definitely packs a very strong punch. Earthquake, 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 Earthquake. Earthquake is pretty nice. I don't really use this card. I rather use things like I said before, like Zap or even the Fireball or the Rocket. Earthquake is still pretty cool though. But it's not my preferred card of spell choice. It's still cool though, don't get me wrong. It's still pretty cool though, don't get me wrong. Earthquake, Earthquake. The Ice Wizard. Okay, so the Ice Wizard is an OG card. I don't really like using it. I'd rather use like the Magic Archer instead. And that's just a preference. Like the Ice Wizard is pretty nice because it slows whatever it hits. And that's a pretty cool effect. Not only that as well, right there as you can see in the video clip. It's just very, it's a decent card, but it's not something I'm really that used to. So yeah, that's the Ice Wizard. The Royal Ghost, the Royal Ghost. Okay, so the Royal Ghost is definitely a very, very annoying card. Because somebody can put the card down and you don't get the first hit. The Royal Ghost gets the first hit. So it's pretty annoying. Obviously you can get like a spell or something, but it's a very annoying card. I don't really like to use it because I'm not good at using it, but it's decent. That's the Royal Ghost. The Bandit. I love using the Bandit. The Bandit does a lot of damage on one-on-one interactions, so it's so powerful. If the Bandit, like if she manages to get to the tower, she causes so much mayhem, so much damage, but she sadly doesn't have that much health, so she's a very weak unit when it comes to health, but she definitely packs a punch. That's the Bandit, the Bandit, the Bandit. The Royal Delivery. So this is kind of funny. I never really gave this card a shot until like the other day. It's actually a pretty decent card when you're using it to counter a certain rush that the opponent has sent out to make, you know, some nice clears. It's pretty Like before, I didn't even know that this card actually worked in the air, like for air damage, but it does. The Royal Delivery is pretty decent. Royal Delivery, Royal Delivery, Royal Delivery, Royal Delivery. The Elixir Golem. Alright, so this card right here, I never gave it a shot until I started to get whooped left and right by other people that use this card. And I was like, how do I counter this? I don't know. What am I doing? This card is so annoying to deal with. It costs 3 elixir, and it can pack a crazy punch, as you can see, if it makes it to the tower. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Elixir Golem, Elixir, Elixir, Elixir Golem, Elixir Golem, Elixir Golem, Elixir Golem. Alright, so the tornado, I get it. I know people like to use a tornado to counter, like right here. Like people can literally counter, use their tornado to activate the King Tower. Here's the thing, right? I'm really bad at this game, and every single time I like try to do that, it just doesn't work. So I don't know what to tell you. It's a really good card. It's decent if you know how to use it, but I just can't use it well for right now. Oh, the clone. Okay, so when it comes to the clone, it's a very powerful card, but it's a high risk because it's one shot. The clones are one shot, but they definitely can pack a punch if they actually start attacking. So it's pretty nice, don't get me wrong. The clone's very powerful. The Void, the Void, the Void, the Void, the Void. When the Void came out, when this card came out, I was very excited about it. And a lot of people were using it, but nowadays that I think about it, I prefer using something like the Fireball or a Rocket instead. Because the Void, if there's many enemies in the circle, it just doesn't do that much damage. It's decent on 1v1 type of things. If only one monster, one mob is in the circle. But when there's many, the damage is all split and it just doesn't do that much damage. But that's the Void, the Void, the Void, the Void, the Void. Fisherman, Fisherman Whispers, Fisherman Whispers, Fisherman. Alright, so the Fisherman card, the Fisherman card, the Fisherman card is actually pretty nice if you know how to use it. It's another advanced card. As you can see, I just don't know how to use that card well. But if you know how to use the card pretty decently, it's nice. But sadly, I kind of don't know how to use the card that well. It's just an advanced card, you know, that you have to really learn how to use. And I'm not there yet. The Little Prince champion right here. The Little Prince is actually pretty cool. It costs 3 and it has an ability built in. All the champion cards do. This one sends a knight, and it's, as you can see, it's not bad. I don't mind using this card time to time, but it's definitely not something I prefer to use all the time. It's not my favorite champion card. Just FYI, my favorite one is the Skeleton King. But yeah, this card, you know, it does pack a punch. It's pretty decent. It's not bad. As you can see right now, it did some crazy damage. And yeah, it's not bad at all, right? It's not bad at all. Little Prince, Little Is this new? I don't recall seeing this. What in the world? Wait, what happened? This is new to me. Goblin cage, goblin cage, goblin cage, goblin cage. Goblin cage, goblin cage, goblin cage, goblin cage, goblin cage. Goblin cage, goblin cage, goblin cage. Goblin cage, goblin cage, goblin cage. Goblin cage. So you're telling me the goblin cage 1v1'd the P.E.K.K.A? Really? I'm actually shocked. That's a nice evolution, dude. I'm impressed by that. Goblin cage. That might be one of the next evolutions I get, FYI. The musketeer is pretty nice. Pretty decent damage output. But once again, I'd rather use the bats. Musketeer, 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 musketeer. The mini P.E.K.K.A, mini P.E.K.K.A, mini P.E.K.K.A, the mini P.E.K.K.A, mini P.E.K.K.A, mini P.E.K.K.A. I love this card. It might be a mini P.E.K.K.A, but it still has the power of a P.E.K.K.A. So not that much health, but definitely a lot of power, a lot of DPS. Mini P.E.K.K.A, mini P.E.K.K.A, mini P.E.K.K.A. 𝐵𝓊𝓈𝒾𝓃𝓃𝓃 is actually one of my favorite cards of all time. Believe it or not, it's a card that I used in my OG type of build. It just helped me to clear a bunch of annoying ads, like a bunch of rushes, just because she can spin around and attack in her area around her to eliminate enemies. It's very powerful, and I even have her evolved, and her evolution is actually pretty interesting because she pushes enemies or like absorbs enemies near her. So for example, as you can see, the golem is being pushed back, so the golem cannot reach the distance to attack the tower. So the 𝐵𝓊𝓾𝓃𝓃 is actually very nice. It's definitely one of my favorite cards to use in general in a lot of my builds. The 𝐵𝓊𝓾𝓃. Alright, so then we have the 𝐵𝓊𝓚. The 𝐵𝓊𝓚 is a very fun card to use when you're like trying to rush. Like I like to use this card typically when I have like my rush build, and it does a lot of damage. I do have the evolution of the 𝐵𝓊𝓚 as well, and this one's even stronger. As you can see, look at that. It cleared out those mobs and did some decent damage, and the damage is still going on. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. As you can see, the 𝐵𝓊𝓚. The 𝐵𝓊𝓚. Skeleton dragons. I don't really use this card, but it's decent. Same reason as I said before, I prefer using the bats, but it's a nice card, don't get me wrong. Skeleton dragons, skeleton dragons, skeleton dragons, skeleton dragons, skeleton dragons. Skeleton dragons. The bomb tower, one of my favorite building cards to use. It just clears out all sorts of mobs. As you can see, look how powerful that is right there. It's great for clears. Very, very powerful. The bomb tower, 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 the bomb tower. The bomb tower, the bomb tower, the bomb tower, the bomb tower, the bomb tower. Alright, so the mortar right here, right? It's pretty nice, don't get me wrong. It does quite a bit of damage, especially even when it reaches like the tower. It does pretty nice damage. I just don't know how to use it well. But the mortar is still pretty nice. It's very strong. The mortar, 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 mortar, Alright, so the flying machine, the flying machine, the flying machine, the flying machine, the flying machine. The flying machine's pretty decent, it's not bad at all. I don't really use this card, same exact reason as I said before why. But it's still a decent card, don't get me wrong. The flying machine, the flying machine. The baby dragon, 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 the baby dragon. This used to be a card that I would use before I got the electric dragon. The baby dragon's still pretty nice for that AoE damage. The AoE damage. The baby dragon, baby dragon, baby dragon, baby dragon. Baby dragon, 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 baby dragon, baby dragon, baby dragon, baby dragon. Baby dragon, 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 baby dragon. Let's keep going, let's keep going, let's keep going, let's keep going, let's keep going. The dog prince, the dog prince. The dog prince, the dog prince is pretty decent, it's not bad. I'd rather use the prince, but the dog prince is still pretty nice. Dark prince, 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 dark prince. Let's continue, let's continue, let's continue. The battle healer, the battle healer, the battle healer, the battle healer. This is a very nice card. I like to use this card when I send out, let's say, like a P.E.K.K.A or Mega Knights, something heavy, and I put this card like in the background just for that nice healing. It's pretty decent. Battle healer, it's basically more so a support card to support your team with some healing. Battle healer, the battle healer, the battle healer, the battle healer. The freeze, this card right here is actually one of my friend's main card, and he knows how to use it really well. As you can see, it works really well when you have a rush going on, then you freeze everything in that direction type of thing, and it allows you to get some DPS a lot more than you would without the freeze spell. And not to mention that freeze spell does do some damage, so you can get rid of the weak HP mobs. And it's just a very nice card to have, and it can catch people off guard. The poison, the poison, the poison. The poison used to be part of my main build way back in the day, and it's still a very powerful card, don't get me wrong. It's nice to use to clear your path. It's decent, it's a decent spell. Poison, 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 poison. Okay, so the Tesla. I don't really like to use this card that much, but it's okay. It's pretty decent, to be fair. I even have it evolved. I just prefer using like other cards for defense, like I said, the bomb tower or the inferno tower. I prefer more so. So yeah, but still, like, it's still a very nice card. The Tesla's very nice. The Tesla, the Tesla, the Tesla, 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 Cybertruck, Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. Then we have the Zappies, the Zappies, the Zappies. Zappies, 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 baddies, 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 Zappies, 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 baddies, 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 Zappies, Zappies, Zappies. I like never used this card before. Like maybe once in a blue moon. I mean, it's pretty nice. I just don't really use the card. But yeah, that's a Zappies, 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 Zappies. The Furnace, an amazing 10 out of 10 IGN. This is an amazing card because it has the fire spirits and it spawns them, and it's just such an annoying card for the enemy to deal with. It's just very powerful. I like this card. Sadly, it can get countered very easily with like spells. Furnace, 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 furnace. Alright, so then we have the Hunter. The Hunter's actually extremely powerful DPS. Doesn't have that much health, but extremely powerful DPS. Yeah, it just does a lot of damage, a lot of damage, a lot of damage. The Hunter, 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 Hunter. Hunter, 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 Hunter. Then we have the Inferno Dragon. I love this card. Such a nice card to use. Such a nice card to use. nice though. The reason why I switched it to Electro Dragon as well is because the Electro Dragon's in the air and the Electro Wizard's on the ground. More units typically are on the ground than in the air. In most builds. Most builds. The Electro Wizard, Electro Wizard, Electro Wizard, Electro Wizard, Electro Wizard, Electro Wizard. Electro Wizard, Electro Wizard, Electro Wizard. Electro Wizard. Alright, then we have the Phoenix, one of my newest addition cards to my setup, I guess you could say, to my account. The Phoenix is such a beautiful card. I just don't know how to use it well. The Phoenix has a very unique ability. If it dies, if the egg does not get destroyed, it can be resurrected. As you can see, the Phoenix, 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 Phoenix. The Phoenix, Phoenix. It's a beautiful card. Probably one of my favorite looking cards in the game. The Magic Archer, Magic Archer, Magic Archer, Magic Archer. Such a powerful card. Such a powerful card. Great clears, great DPS. It hits through opponents because it pierces them. It's just very nice. Very beautiful card. As you can see right there, it's doing damage a little bit in the right angle to the tower. The Magic Archer is a fun card to use. It's a fun card to use. It's a fun card to use. The Magic Archer is a fun card to use. Magic Archer. Magic Archer. Then we have the 𝐵𝓊𝓈𝒾𝓃𝓃𝓆𝓊𝒾𝓃𝓾𝓆𝓆. The 𝐵𝓊𝓈𝒾𝓃𝓃𝓆𝓆. It's actually one of the newest evolutions that I actually acquired, and it's actually pretty nice. I like to use this in one of my rush builds. It's just like the miner, or like the Goblin Barrel, and as you can see, it does pretty decent damage, and it causes disruption on the enemy side. It's very nice. I definitely enjoy this card. 𝐵𝓊𝓈𝒾𝓃𝓃𝓆𝓊𝓾𝓆𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾𝓆𝓾 lumberjack. I like this card. This card, when it dies, it activates a rage spell where it died. It's pretty decent. And yeah, it's just all around decent DPS. It's a rushing card. It's just nice to have. But yeah, that's the lumberjack, 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 lumberjack. The lumberjack, 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 the night witch, the night witch, the night witch, the night witch. This is probably my preferred witch in the game. Once again, because of the bats. It only costs 4, and she spawns bats, and the bats fly in the air. So that's the night witch, 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 the night witch. Look at the damage, look at the damage, look at the damage. The night witch, 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 the night witch. Then we have the mother witch, the mother witch, the mother witch, the mother witch. The mother witch is pretty unique. After it defeats an enemy, the enemy becomes a pig. The thing is, like, the pigs are not that strong, and I don't know. I don't really like using this card that much. It's more so a counter to like cheap cards, but I just use like a zap or something like that, or a fireball to counter that stuff. But yeah, this is the mother witch, the mother witch, the mother witch. As you can see, the fireball just destroys it. The mother witch, the mother witch, the mother witch. Skeleton King. This is by far my favorite champion card in the whole game. Skeleton King. It's such a power play, a power move card if the opponent is not paying attention. As soon as you get close, you can activate your ability. He's gonna spawn a graveyard around him, and there's gonna be some crazy amount of skeletons spawning in, and you can do some crazy damage. It's pretty decent, but you have to make it to the enemy side, the enemy base, the enemy tower. Yeah, it's pretty nice. The Skeleton King, the Skeleton King, the Skeleton King, the Skeleton King, the card's actually pretty fun to use, especially when it comes to clearing out ads. And after he gets to half HP, he rushes to the enemy tower. So it's pretty nice. But that's that right there. That right there. It's the Goblin Demolisher. It's the Goblin. 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 I just misclicked. I did not mean to do that, my friend. I did not mean to do that. No. There he is. The Goblin, the Goblin, the Goblin, the Goblin Demolisher, the Goblin Demolisher, the Goblin Demolisher. And then we have the Goblin Hut. I would say this card, it's cool, but it's not my cup of tea. It doesn't have that much health. And yeah, I just rather prefer using the Fire Spirit Tower instead. I can spawn the Fire Spirits instead of this one. This one costs, 5, elixir. So, yeah, but this is the Goblin Hut. The Goblin Hut, 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 Goblin. Then we have the Giants. The Giant's actually pretty fun to use. I prefer the Mega Knight or like something like that, or like the Giant Skeleton or the Golem. But the Giant is still very powerful. It's one of the OG cards, and he can definitely pack a punch. But that is the Giant, 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 the Giant. Then we have the Barbarians, the Barbarians, the Barbarians, the Barbarians, the Barbarians. The Barbarians are pretty nice. I don't really use them. They're pretty expensive. 5 elixir for this. I'd rather use like the Skeleton Army. It's cheaper, or like the Bats or whatever. But 5 is a lot for that. But it does have an evolution as well. I don't have the evolution yet. The Barbarians, 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 the Wizard. Fun card to use, fun card to use, fun card to use. Decent air damage as well as decent AoE DPS to clear some ads, as you can see right there, clearing up a whole group of cards of enemies, of enemies, of enemies, of enemies, of enemies. The Wizard, 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 Wizard 101, Wizard 101, Wizard 101. I do have the evolution of the Wizard. He gains a shield. After the shield is destroyed, he does AoE damage around him. It's a pretty nice card. 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 The Wizard. Alright, here we go. The Inferno Tower. It has to be my favorite tower. Defense tower in the game. It's just so helpful to distract enemies. It does a lot of damage over time. It's great against the Giant, great against the P.E.K.K.A, great against the Mega Knight. It's just very, 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 very nice. And yeah, it's just nice to have. The Inferno Tower, the Inferno Tower, the Inferno Tower, Inferno Tower, Inferno Dragon, Inferno Tower, Inferno Dragon. Basically, it's the same thing. The Inferno Dragon is in the sky, and which, in my opinion, is better than the Dark Prince. I just prefer the Prince better. The Prince, 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 the 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 Prince. The Prince. The minion horde. Minion horde is very powerful. It does a lot of damage. And a certain rush that I saw other people use is this card mixed with the bandit. You put the bandit in the middle, or a mini pack in the middle, and it can cause some crazy damage to your opponent. It's pretty nice, but it can be countered with a spell or whatever. Arrows, or just some AoE damage in general. The minion horde. Then we have the Ram Rider. The Ram Rider. The Ram Rider is pretty unique because it's a rush card, but it actually can do damage against mobs that are around it. So it's pretty decent, I guess. The Ram Rider. 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 Then we have the Graveyard. The Graveyard. The Graveyard. The Graveyard. Very, very aggressive spell that you can use, and it can definitely do a lot of damage. The Graveyard. 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 Then we have the Rascals. I don't really use this card. I guess it's okay. It's pretty nice, but it's just not really my cup of tea, I guess you could say. But that's the Rascals. 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 And then we have the Bowler. The Bowler. The Bowler. The Bowler. The Bowler. It's basically a boulder. Bowler. 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 I don't use this card that often, but it's a pretty decent card, don't get me wrong. The Bowler, the Bowler, the Bowler, the Bowler, the Bowler. Sadly, it does not attack air units. The Bowler, the Bowler, the Bowler, the Bowler, the Bowler, the Bowler. Then we have the Cannon Cart, which is very nice because it actually has wheels, and the Cannon Cart actually can move, and then it has another face. First it moves, and then when it dies, it becomes a normal tower. It's a pretty nice card that I definitely should give it a shot, give it a try, and try to see if I can make it work in one of my builds. The Cannon Cart. Then we have the Archer Queen Champion card. I don't know how to use this card well, but she can counter the big P.E.K.K.A. So that's a really, really nice thing that it can do. She goes invisible. So she's pretty nice. The Archer Queen. 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 Then we have the Monk Champion card. I don't really use this one. I'm not really sure what it fully does, you know. I'm not really that big of a fan of this card, though. It's okay, I guess. But this is the Monk. 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 Then we have one of the newer cards, the Goblin Machine. I'm still learning this card. It's pretty unique because this card will actually attack the card that's in front of you, but it also has missiles that lock onto different opponents. So it's pretty unique, it's pretty nice, it's pretty powerful, don't get me wrong. But this is the Goblin Machine, the Goblin Machine, the Goblin Machine, the Goblin Machine, Goblin Slayer, Goblin Machine, the Goblin Machine, the Goblin Machine, the Goblin Machine, Goblin Machine. the goblin machine. Alright, and then this is one of the newer champion cards, Goblinstein. I'm still learning this card. It's very unique. If you activate the ability, it does like electric damage, which is like AoE, and it's between the little guy, like the scientist, and the Frankenstein looking one. It's pretty nice, don't get me wrong. It's pretty nice, don't get me wrong. It's pretty nice, don't get me wrong. Goblinstein. The 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 rocket. I'm upgrading this. I like this card. The rocket does so much damage against like everything. It's a very powerful card. The rocket. 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 It's great for counters. Like I say, if the opponent has like a bunch of crazy cards, I'm talking Becca, Mega Knight, and all these other cards combined in a small cluster, you can use the rocket. It can wipe a bunch of them out. This is the Royal Giant. I don't really use this card. I do have the evolution of it. It's actually very strong, don't get me wrong. He packs a punch. I'm just not that used to using this card yet. The Royal Giant, the Royal Giant, the Royal Giant, the Royal Giant. I just looked at the time. Can I get a little bit of respect in the comments down below? Can you guys leave a comment saying, okay, leave this comment down below and it will let me know that you're still watching the video. Say in the comments down below that the golem is meta. Say, golem is meta. Type that in the comments down below and I'll know that you reached this point in the video. So type in a comment in this video that says, the golem is meta. It's over an hour long, it looks like. But that's the Royal Giant. And we're almost done though, as you can see. Here we go, we have the giant skeleton. The giant skeleton. The giant skeleton used to be, like, way back in the day, it was my main card. I would use the giant skeleton with a clone. So when the giant skeleton got near the tower, I would clone it. So then when it dies, it leaves a bomb on the floor, and then when the clone dies, it leaves another bomb on the floor, and it does some crazy damage. You do not want that bomb to be around your tower or your towers. It does so much damage. The giant skeleton is still so powerful. Giant skeleton. Giant skeleton. The lightning. I like this card, but I like the fireball and the rocket better. The lightning, the lightning, the lightning, the lightning, the lightning, the lightning, the lightning. The lightning, the lightning, the lightning, the lightning, the lightning, the lightning, the lightning. The lightning, the lightning, the lightning, the lightning. The barbarian huts. I don't like this card that much because it's very expensive. Barbarian huts, the barbarian hut, 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 the barbarian, the barbarian, the barbarian hut. And then we have the goblin giant, the goblin giant, the goblin giant, the goblin giant, the goblin giant. To which I actually have this card evolved, and I don't really know why I have it evolved. Like, to be clear, I personally don't, but I have it evolved. I got it for whatever reason. The goblin, 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 the goblin giant, the goblin giant, the goblin giant, the goblin giant, the giant of the starts spawning little goblins. It can pack a punch if it reaches the tower, don't get me wrong. The goblin giant, 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 the goblin. The goblin giant. Goblin giant. The elite barbarians. Okay, so this card is my favorite rush card in the game so far. The elite barbarians are so powerful. If this card gets an evolution, that would be very interesting. Because if these two barbarians, if these elite barbarians get to your tower, you gotta do something immediately because they do so much damage. Like, it's pretty crazy. They are quite expensive though, don't get me wrong. But they pack a punch. Typically I like to send a rush on one side. Let's say the golem. Then on the other side, I wait. As soon as the opponent starts dropping some cards to defend against the golem attack that I sent out, then I send the elite barbarians on the other side. Kind of like catch them off guard type of thing. Never let them know your next move. Then we have the Expo. The Expo is actually very strong. I'm just absolutely diaper butt using it. The Expo, the Expo, the Expo, the Expo, the Expo. Captain Underpants. Expo, Expo, Expo. X, 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 X. Expo, 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 Expo. Do you like the Expo? 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 The Expo, 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 Expo. Alright, then we have the Sparky. Then we have the Sparky, crazy damage. The Sparky's a powerhouse. Do not let that get close to your tower. But you can counter it. It's just like using the Inferno thingy. The Inferno Dragon or the Inferno Tower. Get a little bit of a zap or the Electro Wizard or Electro Dragon and it will reset the charge of the Sparky. Sparky. The Elixir Collector. So some people really love this card. I don't really like it that much because I get it, you get more elixir out of it, but the thing is, that's like if nobody attacks it, you know what I mean? And it's not like a crazy amount of elixir either that I know of, like it's a little bit. So it's not really, it's not my cup of tea. Because a simple fireball or whatever can just destroy this thing. And then you lose out on your elixir. But yeah, you don't really get that much stuff. This building makes 8 elixir over its lifetime. You only get 2 more elixir from this card. If it was like 10 or something, then yeah, okay, that would be very powerful, but it's not really my cup of tea with that. Then we have the P.E.K.K.A. The big one, the one that has more HP, crazy damage still, just like the mini P.E.K.K.A. It's a very powerful card, don't get me wrong, but if you have like an Inferno Tower, a Skeleton Army, things like that, you can counter it, or even just a skeleton, you can counter it. But it's definitely very concerning because the P.E.K.K.A. does so much damage, especially the evolved P.E.K.K.A. The evolved P.E.K.K.A. I actually have it, and the evolved P.E.K.K.A. actually heals itself, and yeah, that's pretty terrifying when you think about like this thing is a one-hitting machine. It's gonna home run like every shot that you throw at it basically, and now it's healing itself. Yeah, you don't want the smoke of the P.E.K.K.A. But it does have its counters, like right there as you can see the Skeleton Army. So it's not, you know, immune. It does have its drawbacks, but that's the P.E.K.K.A. Then we have the Royal Recruits. The Royal Recruits is actually a card that I never before really gave it that much of a shot, but I've been seeing players using this card, and I was like, you know what? It seems to be working that to use this card. Like 7 elixir is a crazy amount of elixir to actually use a card. But yeah, that's the Royal Recruits. I do have the evolution of it, and evolution it just makes them like more tanky. It just makes them a little bit better. As you can see, the little so it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. But yeah, I was like facing off against those guys, the Royal Recruits, quite a bit, and I was like, how do I counter this? I don't know what to do. The bomb tower works wonders, I'm telling you. The bomb tower, Royal Recruits, the Royal Recruits, the Royal Recruits, and then we have the Mega Knight, which is actually my first maxed out card. The Mega Knights, the Mega Knights, the Mega Knights, the Mega Knights. The Mega Knight, Mega Knight, Mega Knight, the Mega Knight, the Mega Knight. Sadly, the P.E.K.K.A. counters it though. The Mega Knight, 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 Mega Knight, Mega Knight, Mega Knight, Mega Knight. I like the Mega Knight because in those rushes right there, I place a card down, it does so much AoE damage. It just counters the attack. I do have the evolved evolution of Mega Knight sends enemies flying backwards, which is pretty nice because you get closer to the towers. Mega Knight, Mega Knight, Mega Knight. The Mega Knight, the Mega Knight, the Mega Knight, the Mega Knight. The Mega Knight, the Mega Knight, the Mega Knight. The Mega Knight, the Mega Knight, the Mega Knight. The Mega Knight, the Mega Knight. Mega Knight. The Electro Giant. Electro Giant. It's a pretty good card. It's pretty decent. Electro Giant. Electro Giant. I like it because it counters, like as you can see there in front of Dragon. Because he has Electro Giant. Electro Giant. Then we have the Lava Hound. A card that I like never use, like ever. It's really expensive, and I don't think this card's really that crazy. At least in my opinion, I don't think it's that crazy. I don't think it does that much damage, and I think it's very easily countered. As soon as it does that, as soon as it dies, it spawns all these other little guys, these flying dragons. Just attack them with like a fireball. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the Lava Hound. The Lava Hound. The Golem. This is a very nice, powerful card. I love this card. The Golem will only attack towers, but the thing is, once it dies, it breaks off into 2 little golems, and it's still doing damage. And it does a little bit of AoE around it, so if someone sends out a skeleton army, on the first phase when it dies, it's gonna destroy the skeleton army. So it's pretty nice. Right there, the issue is like the Inferno Dragon, Inferno Tower, the P.E.K.K.A, things like that. But yeah. Then we have the 3 Musketeers. I don't think I've ever used this. At least I might have used it just to try it, but like never again. Maybe one day I'll give it a shot again though. The 3 Musketeers, it can do a lot of damage. But let's be real. It costs 9 elixir. That's insanity. When I can counter it with a fireball. It's just, I don't think it's worth it. But that's the 3 Musketeers. And then we have a card that I don't have yet. And that is the Goblin Curse. The Goblin Curse. And it seems like a very decent spell. It will spawn goblins. It's pretty nice. I mean, it spawns quite a bit of them. So it's just the baby goblins. Baby goblins, baby goblins, baby goblins, baby goblins. It gets charged as you use goblin cards. And it activates that ability that was shown there. Baby goblins, baby goblins, baby goblins, baby goblins, baby goblins. And then we have the cannoneer tower, which is nice, but I don't really use this card because I like the other one I use. This one's not bad though, don't get me wrong. The cannoneer, the cannoneer, the cannoneer, the cannoneer. See, like right there, it just sucks against the bats because it's pretty slow. And then we have the OG card, the Tower Princess, which is a pretty decent, tower. It's not bad. It's pretty nice all around her. The Tower Princess, 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 Tower, 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 Princess, 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 Princess. And then we have, last but not least, my favorite, the tower card, the Dagger Duchess. She's just really fast. I really hope you didn't hear that. I just sneezed. Dagger Duchess, the Dagger Duchess, the Dagger Duchess, the Dagger Duchess. The issue with the Dagger Duchess is that it runs out of attack speed and it gets slower, as you can see the bar on the bottom. But it's just very nice at the beginning. It's just if the enemy continues to send no more cards, it's not going to be that effective of a tower. The Dagger Duchess. Sleep. Dagger Duchess. Dagger Duchess. So that's this. So these are my emotes I have right now. I don't really have that many. I know there's a lot that I don't have. As you can see, there's so many. There's some pretty cool and funny ones that I would like to get one day, if it happens. This is just the collection of magic items that I have. These are the towers that I have. My favorite one's probably the shark one. The shark or the middle one right here. The ones that I have, these are the decorations for like the banner. I don't really have that many. But I mean, it's okay, I guess. And then the card masteries. So you can see it, there you go. I'm still working on getting a lot of these. And that's about it, guys. That's about it. 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 That's about it. That's about it. Let me just open up some of these and then I'm gonna end the video there. That's a lot. Oh my goodness, that's really nice. Let's go. I mean, I'll take that, I guess. let's actually go down here. Upgrade this. Where's yeah. Level 11. Pretty nice.